We're really tired of this leak, so we're gonna find it today. So we got our inverter here, temporarily hooked up beside the stairs. So as you can see, we have something to gather the water from the one window that we replaced. We've had this leak for a little while. We figured the water was getting in from the seal somewhere, but we're really tired of this leak, so we're gonna find it today. So here's the window that's leaking from the outside. We are thinking that the water is coming in from our little wood trim here that's supposed to separate the deck from the upper deck, I guess you could call it. It just gives it, I guess, a bit more appeal. But we were going to change this anyway because in a lot of spots it's pretty rotten. So it's either getting in through there, or we think it might be getting in through our our Dodger support here, or back here, because there is a bit of a gap between it. But there's constantly water dripping in from here. And we also recently realized, so lots of water getting in under here, even though the seal seems to be fine here. And there's definitely some water getting into where our chain plates are here.
Jib track.
Yeah, our jib track here. So actually the last bolt on the jib track has a washer on it, and it's sunk all the way into rotten wood. So I'm surprised the deck here is even solid at all. But yeah, we're gonna try to fix this leak. I love when you're about to take something off and you find stainless steel screw that's been completely stripped. Ooh, look at all that fun silicone.
Doesn't belong on a boat. We're putting some butyl tape. Everyone's tired of the cold.
How's it going?
Well, it's going, you know. So we removed all the trim along our deck. And now, well, it's really too cold. It's like Easter, but it's like 0 degrees. Actually 2 degrees. So about 34 Fahrenheit. So I'm putting a little bit of butyl tape in all those little holes because we can't surely reseal them with like epoxy just because it's way too cold. And we don't want any water coming in. Seal it!
Disconnecting the battery, trying to hook up the inverter. This big beefy thing here is a fuse. I don't know if you can see it, probably not, but this is gonna keep
Where's
us
the fuse?
right here.
Oh, okay.
We got the fuse in here with this big huge cable, and yeah, hopefully we'll have inverted power soon. So this was the old end here that we cut off from our batteries that was the original cables. This was the worst one that we swapped out for a new one. You can see that, hopefully you can see how bad the corrosion is there. And we ended up chopping the end just to see if the wire itself was any good. And you can actually see little green bits in between all the wires. So I'm pretty sure even if I cut back a little more, here, we'll come over here. Let's cut back even a few inches. Let's see what we can get here. Bring it back to the light. So you can see it's better, but there's still some green crap in there. There's probably a portion of this wire that's good, but most of it's garbage. So we got our inverter here, temporarily hooked up beside the stairs. It's not going to stay here because it's kind of a rain hazard, but it'll work for now until we get our 2 other batteries, and then we'll have the extra length we need to mount it where we like. So I'm just hooking it up. I got the 2 positive and negatives ran here with some tape on them for protection until I'm able to hook them up. So I'm going to hook up the negative first, actually. And when I hook up the positive, I'm going to have to be careful because there's going to be a bit of a spark. And that doesn't really seem avoidable. I also have a grounding to hook up under here that will ground to the chassis later on underneath. Power on a sailboat is one of the most important aspects of a comfortable liveaboard life. Most boats have 2 kinds of power aboard: DC or direct current, which is stored in the batteries and powers things like your lights, instruments like depth and wind, and our fridge. So as I said, there's going to be a spark, so be ready. It wasn't a very big one, but you saw it. If we want to have household power to use our computers or charge our cameras, we need to convert and change our DC power to AC, or alternating current. With the help of an inverter, we're able to do that. Moment of truth. Woo!
Power! What's happening?
Oh, just cleaning up some electrical. Getting rid of this inline fuse with the pump because we have a breaker connected to it. So I'm going to move it to our DC outlet over by our control panel for our cockpit because it never had one. And just cleaning up some of the connectors because they were all duct taped, so I'm going to put shrink wrap on them. So it's finally warm outside. It's such a beautiful day, and we're removing some of the paint. The paint that's just kind of chipping away with one of these scrapers here. So we're just getting rid of any of the spots that look really bad. And then we'll give it a really light sanding and put on some more bottom paint. If you've been following us for a while, you might have noticed how many times we change our minds throughout a project. So it is no surprise that the sanding mission was no different. We went back and forth on what we wanted to do. 1 minute, we were sure we wanted to remove all the paint. Then the next, we realized just how much work it was going to take. And we changed our minds, deciding just to let nature do the work for us and peel the paint away over time. And just repaint when we need to. Then we hit an area that was just flaking away by touching it, which starts to convince us maybe we should just do it right the first time. Finally, we decided to take the lazy way out and just take down what came off easily and repaint when we needed to.
The anti-fouling paint that we have is an ablative one, which is meant to slowly disappear with time as it releases its poison, I guess. The paint flakes away with time, which is why there's multiple layers of it that haven't flaked off entirely. So we were debating removing it all or just waiting with time. Am I ever sexy? Look at this beautiful suit. So anyways, I started doing a little bit of sanding because we got some sections that were bare. So I'm like, oh, we're just gonna feather them and then slap on the same type of bottom paint we had last year, which was bottom coat from Interlocks. But it's really peeling off so easily that I think we're just gonna take it down to the Intrepid Tech and then try some Micron CSC potentially. Because it's coming out, like it's just, you don't even put any pressure and it's down to Intrepid Tech. And with a lot of talking with different people around the marina, we decided to just leave this type of paint, which is good for freshwater like the Great Lakes, and that we would change to a better type of anti-fouling once we reach the salt water. What are you doing, Corey?
Oh, getting ready to do some sanding. It's May 1st. It's been really rainy lately. And it's time to get the bottom paint done because it sounds like we're actually going to get it to launch. There's been ice in the bay or in the marina for the past little while. And it's really made it difficult because they keep saying, oh, we're going to launch. And then, okay, no, maybe we won't launch. Maybe it'll be next week. And so on and so forth for multiple weeks. But that's been okay anyway because we've been pretty busy with work and making videos and stuff like that. But it's time to do some bottom paint. Well, not quite bottom paint yet, sanding first. You didn't clean the mask after you used it.
Sorry.
Woo! There's the clip. There we go.
There's a third one over here.
I might need the shave to get it. No, it's pretty good.
This is that.
Some spots we won't really get.
Okay.
Our friend Dan was kind enough to lend us a sander that both oscillates as well as spinning, which made for much faster sanding compared to the one that we were just using, the orbital sander. So this really shows you how sometimes spending a bit more money on a good quality tool will actually make your job go faster, as well as spending money on the sanding disc. Our backyard was so packed, it was kind of nice though, standing on top of your sailboat and seeing all the different boats and waving to your friend working on his boat just across from you. How was the sanding?
It was pretty good. There's quite a few layers of paint on there. Just trying to get a bit of a blending thing going on. We're not going to take all of the old bottom paint down, but I'm trying to match the layers a little bit more. But it went pretty well. It's just my arms are pretty sore. So
You're blue.
Think
Like super blue.
I'm going to grab a blue beer to match my blue face and head and take a shower soon.
I'm trying to do some editing, but Corey is standing outside and it's so loud. It's kind of funny because he actually just stopped before I grabbed the camera, so you can't hear it, but it's really, really loud. So I've got my earphones and I'm actually listening to him sanding. There you go, he just started. So sanding the hall is so loud. Corey, what do you love most about sanding?
Oh. The sore arms, the face mask, it's just awesome, you know? Especially the poison blue stuff that gets everywhere. It's quite nice.
That's a bit of a different sight. First boat in the water of the season. We're May 3rd or 4th. We're going in next Friday and I'm super excited.
Like, look at this. I just sanded all that. It makes me really think ideally we should take this down. It's like ridiculous.
It's been so hard to get anything done because it's been raining tons, but today was beautiful. It actually feels like spring. Did some sanding on the hull, just super productive. Now it's beer time.
Oh, good idea.
Alright, you away?
Yeah.
Cheers!
Woohoo! Ready almost.
Our neighbors are very diverse. With all the birds flying back from warmer climates, we are bombarded by geese, ducks of all sorts, loons, and sparrows, as well as the famous Canadian geese. See?
Oh, you're getting that guy over there?
Yeah. We're starting to apply some butyl tape, and hopefully our chain plates won't leak anymore.
So we got a leak coming in from here. We just filled up our water tank and we knew we had some leaks coming in from up here. But all our anchor locker install was completely dry in here. So we know that that's not the problem. So we decided to take off this panel, and looks like, actually we should have known this from when we built our anchor locker anyway. This was the bottom of our anchor locker that we built here. I can feel the foam. And it looks like there's some water seeping in.
The vent hose isn't sealed actually from the top.
Yeah, maybe it's the vent hose. There's some water coming in from here somewhere anyway. What a luxury it was to finally have running water. After almost a full winter of carrying water as we needed. After running the water to remove all the antifreeze and a bleach and water soak, the tanks and lines were ready to be used. Woohoo!
So as you can see, we've got some water in the front section of our bilge, which means that there's still water coming into the boat, which isn't good. I even found some water in the hatch. Everything's so much harder to do when it's cold. The hoses, everything's stiff. Okay. So this is the vent hose for the fuel tank, and we're putting it back on so that we can use the engine when we launch. It's on!
Just like that.
Oh. I thought you said doing it again. Oh yeah, that's like full.
We were wondering why the bilge was turning on. Look at all that water.
We're hoping that the rain's gonna hold off for the evening because we really gotta get all the bottom paint on the boat. We're launching in 5 days and it's calling for more rain, so trying to get it done. Hopefully it just holds off.